So I'm wondering if you have an initial reaction to the recent news about the Arts Council. First of all, we heard that a nearly €7 million IT project never came to completion because of insufficient expertise. And then subsequent to that, we heard that the National Gallery had a scanner that has not been used in 8 years, despite spending about 126 grand because it couldn't fit into the room that it was earmarked for. I'm wondering what your initial reaction to that is.
I think it's just more of the same. We've seen all this in the past, and the figures just get bigger and bigger. It's outrageous that the state cannot manage its own affairs, cannot manage its own money, taxpayers' money, and that the Comptroller and Auditor General's office has not been improved at all over the years. We require further investment in his office so that he is enabled to check every line of expenditure where it involves taxpayers' money. He may not want to do it all, it may not be necessary, but at least he would have the power to do it if the occasion should call for that. But the most recent reports from the CNAG and what we're hearing from the OPW and the arts proves again that the state is ill-prepared to put in place the type of IT equipment that's needed to control and reflect on the spending of public money. That can be said of health, arts, you name it. But then, why did it take 8 years for them to raise this issue about the scanner that was there, bought by the public taxpayers' money again, and not used for 8 years? Like, why did it take so long? Why does someone not raise this question before? Now, many reports have been given to the various ministers and through the Department of Public Expenditure and Reform as to how matters could be improved. Written after long consultation with members of the Public Accounts Committee, but these reports are just put on the shelf and forgotten about. It isn't good enough, and government have to do more to sort it out.
We're seeing in America this new push for an extreme streamlining of the public sector over there. They have a new Department of Government Efficiency where they're forensically auditing pretty much every government department, from foreign aid to education spending and everything in between. And of course, you know, individuals might have objections to specific ways that's being pursued. And, you know, we could look at every single aspect of that and whether or not it's proportional. But do you think directionally a kind of a push like we're seeing in America would be appropriate here?
Yeah, it's very simple to deal with this. You simply make the secretaries general in each department, who are the accounting officers, you make them take the responsibility for the spend. And where that is not spent correctly, where inefficiencies occur, where poor value for money is the order of the day, well then you have to have sanctions. You have it in business, and that's the way it should happen in the public and civil service. Now, the Public Accounts Committee then needs to be strengthened in terms of its powers, and in terms of its response to the CNAG's reports. And the Comptroller and Auditor General's office needs to take in local government and departments and be responsible as a one audit, one-stop shop to deal with all of the a vast amount of money that are being spent by different departments. We have increased the spending of every department by billions, and yet the public watchdog, if you like, of PAC and the Comptroller and Auditor General has never been improved. And I brought a bill before the Dáil. As chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, I've presented many reports on how efficiencies can be achieved, how value for money can be achieved, and yet we still have the scanner, the Children's Hospital, the wall built by the OPW. The list goes on and on and on. And I suppose it's like everything else. We'll hear a lot about it through the media. The dogs will bark and the caravan moves on and no changes are made. It is not good enough by a long shot. And they should be taking action on it now. And I wouldn't go down the route of America. I don't think we have to be as extreme as that. But we have to take the steps immediately that are necessary to take control of what's going on.
Would you say that there is an appetite within government to pursue the kind of action you're describing? Because, of course, you have been very vocal about this over many years. You've served on the Public Accounts Committee. You've been, screaming this from the rooftops, essentially, not just with this scandal, but with many scandals. But do you feel like you're banging your head against the wall, or is there actually a chance of some of your colleagues in government taking this seriously and taking action on this?
Well, I have raised it in the past. Going back to the first day I walked through those gates in Leinster House, I was always struck by the poor, reporting systems that are there in terms of audit, etc. And I did produce that bill. I think there is little or no appetite in government to take the steps that are necessary to protect taxpayers' money. And that concerns me greatly. And I don't say that lightly. I would like to see new legislation coming forward around the suggestions that I've made. I'd like to see Secretaries General be made more responsible. And I'd like to see the ministers taking an active role in questioning their own Secretaries General, their own department officials, to achieve what's needed, value for money. And until we do that, and until there is sanctions, we're going to see this type of poor value for money going on into the future.